Yeah, Francis, come in. Yeah, take a seat. Before the weekly general meeting, TJM, WGM, where we talk about what we might do for season 2 of the podcast, we've noticed that you're coming in quite late, quite a bit.
Yeah,
And
Francis, I'm afraid that we've had a lot of reports of this lateness. It's not something that we can really tolerate at this point. Sorry, back to you.
yeah, and we, as you know, we need everybody on board to make the content that you can find at www.thatguys.co.uk go out and be read by adoring fans of video game content. And the social channels as well. Richie, do you want to mention those?
Yeah, so we need our readers to be able to go to these social channels using our tag, of course, which is at That Guy's a Maniac, all one word, lowercase. Such places as Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You know, that's really it's priority number one for us here at the office.
Yeah. Now we know children get sick. Some children get chronically sick, but let's just say we'd like to see you in the office at least at 9 o'clock the coming period. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Francis.
Okay, cheers, Francis. Thanks, man.
Yeah, just shut the door on the way out.
Yeah. Oof, that's fucking tough.
I know, but
Do you know what might perk up the spirits, though?
what's that?
The spirits. It might be we should have a Halloween party.
Oh,
You know?
then maybe, Francis will turn up on time
Yes.
and do his work, and we won't have to have these scary meetings.
Scary meetings. Okay, cool. So we are here with our Halloween episode. Is it going to be spooky, Farley?
It's gonna be spooky. It's the blood-curdling, spine-chilling episode for Halloween.
So last year's Halloween episode, you let all of our readers know that you didn't like Halloween very much.
I'd like it more, I think, if we got a day off.
Yeah, you know what? It's a fucking good point.
Yeah.
We get days off for much sillier things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't begrudge religion or celebrating the monarchy or whatever if it means you have a day off. That's fine. But don't create some bullshit holiday where we don't get a day off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the other thing is for these Halloween sort of office traditions, you're genuinely expected to go to work, but dressed up as a tit at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat, pumpkin flavored things, and I don't like the taste of pumpkin either, particularly.
No, and pumpkin spiced anything is not actually a nice thing to do it. You know, least of all coffee. You know, I prefer the Christmas ones. I like the gingerbread flavor and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
pumpkin spice is just. Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, there's our hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes on the annual celebration of All Hallows Eve.
Of All Hallows, when Santa raised Jesus from the dead.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
To fight the Easter Bunny or something.
And Satan was kicked out of heaven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why we have bats at Halloween.
Yep. Fact. Yeah.
So what's our gimmick this year?
Our gimmick this year is we are going to talk about our favourite ghosts in games.
Things that go bump in the night.
No, ghosts in games. Not your mum. See what I did there? I made a your mum joke. Don't leave the podcast.
Okay.
I know it's it's awful having to do a Halloween episode. I shouldn't have made a your mum joke.
Do you want to do some overthink about what is a ghost and what isn't a ghost, or should we just?
The best part is I actually have one of the ones
right.
I've chosen is I mean, like, we all know what a ghost is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a monster, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a see-through spirit thing, you know. Okay. I'm not going to go into too much, because genuinely anything I say about my rules of it is probably going to make one of my choices for my favorite ghost go the fuck out the window.
Yeah.
So ghosts are ghosts, or games are ghosts.
What I will
StarCraft
say
ghosts.
is we don't have enough, given the creative freedom of the medium of video games, you don't see any weird and wacky ghosts, really. I'd like to see, well, maybe you have some on your list, but I'd like to see ghost dinosaurs. Or, the best bits of Ghostbusters movies are the little cutaways they do, especially in the second one, to various ghosts turning up, like the ghost taxi driver, and the ghost of the Titanic coming in. Those bits were really cool.
Yeah,
I'd like to see more of that, more creepy stuff like that in video games, which you can do easily because you're not constrained by by the reality of ghosts.
You're not constrained by the reality of ghosts.
Sticking to real ghosts.
Yeah.
And graphically lifelike ghosts. You can do whatever you want.
Dinosaurs, though.
Yeah.
I feel
Just
like
anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, that gets kind of into a weird sort of that gets into a weird place. I know that I wasn't going to overthink what a ghost is, but in general, you don't get ghosts of animals. I think it's not just mostly people.
Yeah,
because animals don't have souls.
But I think they do. Like, if you
maybe it's a collective soul for like all dinosaurs. They have one soul.
Well, I don't know. Like, if you look at the geological history of life on Earth, right? 99% of things are dead.
Yeah.
But
more than that.
The reason why you don't see them is because when you die, you're stuck at the level at which you lived.
Yeah.
So they're going around. It's just they're buried underground.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense when you think about it.
Yeah. I think I might have
erosion and outcrops, but that's my thing, and that's why you don't see many Roman ghosts. Because
this is actually a thing. Like one of my friend's mums, she claimed that she saw the ghost of a Roman soldier.
Yeah.
And of course, where I lived was pretty much beside Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
But it was only like the top half of his torso.
Yeah.
She saw going through, and like, it makes sense because the world was
He's stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
So if you want to see ghost dinosaurs, go to like a quarry or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's really weird is that if you think about all the areas of the world that weren't underwater during the last ice age, when the
oh my
ice was
god! Think of
retreating.
all of the organisms in the water.
Yeah, exactly. Underwater ghosts. There's whole like villages and stuff under there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no one's looking for underwater ghosts. So,
like, what is the statistic of the number of krill that's in the ocean? Do they all have ghosts?
Yeah. Tiny ghosts.
Do ghosts take up energy?
If we could work out how to use their energy, we could solve the energy crisis. Well, just move from fossil fuels to ghost fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And that would keep us going for like another couple of thousand years, I think.
Yeah, the krill souls won't mind.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Or you could just, all the ghosts that must be in the chalk.
Yeah, like, all chalk is just like the corpses of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of the ghost potential there. If we could somehow suck them out of the cliffs and then, I don't know, burn them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Discussion.
Give me a video game ghost that you have written on your list?
Is
Is it favourites? Are we going for favourites, or are we just
we're going for
five?
favourites.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was top 4.
Okay.
And I'm going to go for a really obvious one first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Boo.
Boo. Okay.
Boo.
Yeah.
You know the ghost in Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. He sort of did his first sort of premiere in Mario Bros. 3. I like him. I like that there is a sort of cool, I don't know, risk and reward with those ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, obviously, when you look at them, they stay still and they hide behind and they're all shy. But when you look away, they go all evil and they start flying towards you. And so you have to sort of like almost get them to a position where you can jump over them safely and not die.
Yeah.
But there's a weird thing about the ghosts in Mario, and specifically in Mario World, because they branch out. There's like tons of different ones, and what's it called?
The Boo family tree.
Yeah, a massive family tree. So you get Big Boo, of course, who's like a boss, and the one of the secret exits for some of the levels.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Ghost House. But in the Ghost House, you also get like clouds of boos, like thousands of them up there, and only some of them will come down and attack you and stuff like that. That's quite cool. And then you get static ones that just go around in a circle, but with just a little gap that you have to run in at just the right time. And then you get ones that sort of, like a group of them that all sort of follow around in a pattern. So they don't do the whole "I'm scared of you" thing, and they just sort of move constantly around in a understandable pattern. But then there's also this weird thing. With the ghosts, and I don't know that it hits a chord within me, and I don't know what it is. Like, so if you hit those ghosts, you're gonna die, you know, or you're gonna shrink, or you're gonna lose your feather or whatever. But one of the things that allows you to actually interact with those ghosts is Mario's spin jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I always find that quite weird, because why does his spin jump allow him to sort of click jump off a ghost?
Because
what's so special about his...
He spins in such a way that he temporarily taps into the spirit world.
That's cool. I mean, they should really touch on that more in the later...
I want to see a prequel to Mario where he's learning all these skills, or was it just doing parkour a lot and got really good at it?
Maybe Chris Pratt's rendition of him will bring in the magic ghost tapping shoes.
Yeah, the backstory.
Well,
how did he learn how to do the crouch jump, right, and get sick jumps off that?
Yeah, well, I mean that's a Mario Brothers 2 thing. That doesn't really. There's things about Mario Brothers 2 that just don't fit in the canon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean he gets the crouch jump. That becomes a staple in the 3D games.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like in N64, you crouch and do the jump, and you go flying all over the shop.
No. You can do a backflip.
Yeah.
No, I was meaning the crouch jump in Mario 2, where you duck down for a few seconds and then you got a bigger jump. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Just thinking of the different things. Yes, okay. Yeah.
I mean, all of which need an origin story.
They do, but the power of the spin jump, its ability to break bricks underneath, that's really cool. Like, I feel like it deserves more recognition for Mario's spin jump. But
more respect. Mario deserves more respect.
Yeah. But other things, you can this is weird. You can kill ghosts in what's it called? Mario Brothers 3. If you have the Goomba sock.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I mean that's special as well. It somehow, transcends supernatural dimensions and is able to kill a ghost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean this is why we don't dwell on the definition of what a ghost is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then later on, he starts getting involved in some of the team sports. Yeah,
of course. I mean, he becomes a staple character, and and you get King Boo, and you get the extended family of Boos. Like I touched on it briefly on Mario World, but beyond that, there's a million different ones in as well, and are they all mates with Skeletal Bowser and Dry Bones and shit like that? Because there really is a lot of undead in the Mario games.
Yeah,
they
really are.
Yeah.
I like Boos, and if you ever, particularly in the early games, where they're just the straightforward, move towards you, bob up and down. If you're not looking at them, if you ever get caught out by a Boo, it's really your own fault. That's what I love about them.
Yeah.
They're predictable. it's kind of like, I guess the zombies. The zombies of Mario. They're really easy to deal with, unless you're under some kind of time pressure.
Well,
or you have to jump. But
risk and reward, as I was saying earlier. Yeah, you've got to see how far you can push it to But there was other cool things that you had to do using the ghosts. You had to get them near you, and you could hit them with bricks as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's some light bullshit in all the new Super Marios. And then of course it was a power up in Mario Kart.
Oh yeah. Well, of course the ghost. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, that's Boo. That was quite succinct.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say about him, but he was an obvious one. He didn't make your list then, Farley?
No, he wasn't on my list.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Only because I think we talked about it last time, but there we go.
Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, speaking of your list.
Yes. So the first one on my list is in no order. The order in which I thought it and wrote it down.
Yeah.
I am going to. We made a rule. We could only choose one Pokemon each.
Okay.
A maximum of one each to stop us just talking about Ghost Pokemon. I think my favourite Ghost Pokemon is Sableye.
Sableye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sableye is ghost and dark, and it kind of has little gems on it. It has gems for eyes in various games and anime and stuff. It's associated with being in dark places and hoarding gems.
There's the big evil toothy grin as well.
Yeah, well that's what's great about Sableye in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So there are a few, when you're in the wild areas, there are a few Pokemon who come up to you, waddle up to you and just kind of do a little move or wave at you. But there are a couple of Pokemon which really chase after you, one of which being Beartic.
Yes.
When you're just outside of Wyndon, it sort of turns it and then it starts lolloping at you. And Sableye does that, which is interesting because it's the slowest dark type. Not the slowest ghost type, but there's some quite deliberately slow ghosts out there.
Beartic's not particularly high up in the speed stakes.
No, but Sableye properly hairs after you if it catches you running around in a really scary, his mouth and its teeth are lolloping open and it kind of runs after you. I didn't really know the origin or the supposed origin of Sableye. And it's interesting because it's not one that's really based on a ghost. So a lot of the other ones, as we've covered before, come from kind of mythological ghosts. A lot of them draw on this really rich
yokai culture.
Yeah, yokai and various degrees of Japanese spirits. But Sableye is thought to be, of course, Game Freak and creators and designers are always quite tight-lipped about the inspiration behind these things. It's thought to be the Hopkinsville Goblin, which is kind of like a little green man type thing.
LGM?
Yeah. Is it? I'm gonna look it up right now. So that's thought to be the loose inspiration for it.
Okay. What is the Hopkins imp?
So the Hopkins encounter was one of the named or semi-famous close encounters with extraterrestrial beings in Hopkinsville in Kentucky, and the descriptions of it and subsequent illustrations and memes about it essentially look like Sableye.
Yeah,
so they have,
I'm just looking it up now. Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a big head. Looks a bit like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch as well.
Yeah.
And then a long body and kind of glowing eyes, which might be where Sableye's eye comes from in its name in English. I'm sure the Japanese name for it means 4 different things depending on the context and how the words go together. Oh. Yeah, I like Sableye as a ghost and dark type for a while. It until fairy type turned up, it was kind of cool because it didn't have many weaknesses or any weaknesses. Got a cool mega where
it also had a really cool moveset as well because it
had
the ability prankster.
Yeah, the prankster. So it's really bad speed stat, but with the ability prankster, any status moves would automatically go first, which has become a little bit less powerful in the days of everybody dropping psychic mist with Dynamax, which means those things don't get pulled off. But yeah, that was a cool little moveset, and it's great they got a Mega. I'm not too sure if the Mega was any good in the short time that we had Megas.
It looked good, and we have to talk about its shiny form as well.
Yes, so shiny.
The shiny is completely gold.
Yeah.
Which is really, really quite cool. And so Sableye usually has a big red gem that he hangs behind, but the shiny version has a big green gem.
Yeah.
And it looks quite sort of like ruby and emerald. I really like that. It's quite cool.
Yes, yeah, the gems on its back are supposedly a reference to Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, the games in which it first appeared.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So there's a different whole bunch of gems on its back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of partnered, so there are, you may know that there are a kind of partner Pokemon, which are often version exclusives. And so I think Sableye's partner is Moile.
Moile, yeah.
Big, mad, toothy backward head.
Yeah, so
Still
it's this
beast.
Giant evil mouth, but it has the body of like an innocent looking little girl, but the hair just basically has teeth. It's a very cool Pokemon.
Yeah. So those two.
And it got a Mega as well.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Further feeding to the theory that they are.
Yeah.
Pairs. So there we go. That's my shout out to Sableye.
Cool.
Despite the fact it doesn't really have a ghostly origin, it is a cool ghost type Pokemon, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll accept it because there was no definition of ghosts at the start of the show.
No. Is it a ghost type?
Yeah, it's a ghost type. Yeah, can't deny it. You know, it's actually it fits in. I don't know. Did you ever read books on UFO encounters or anything like that?
No, I was never really into UFOs. And in the age where it's easier than ever to be into conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Just the alien ones always just seemed a bit rubbish.
See, I'm not talking about the conspiracy theories behind it. I'm meaning as a kid, I remember I had this great big book.
Yeah.
And it was part of a series, actually. It was a series on the Earth, the planet, human biology, plant biology, and then there was another one which was UFOs. So it's these encyclopedias, and then suddenly there's one on UFOs, which gave it some kind of weird credibility.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, I used to read that one, but it used to freak me the hell out. So it kind of works with this Halloween jive at
Nice.
the moment. But yeah, like just reading stories about like people who have seen these UFOs, and you get these pictures of these like big-headed things with eyes that don't have pupils or anything like that. I used to like freak myself out, really quite scared of the concept of UFOs. You know, being able to like, I don't know. I guess the way it was kind of framed, it was like a monster more than a UFO. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember quite clearly one of the books that we had growing up, and again, it would sit next to or in between the encyclopedias and the dictionaries and the Book of the Body, Book of the Earth, like Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World.
Okay.
Which is a great book, worth picking up. There isn't really anything analogous to it today, and it would just be all that weird shit, right? So there'd be stuff about crystal skulls, the Mary Celeste, the shifting stones in the desert, all of these kind of myths and legends, with photos just in this book. And again, as a kid, you're sitting next to all these reference books. You'd kind of read through it and be like, oh yeah, maybe there's something to it. And of course, most of it's bollocks, or like crystal skulls. Crystal skulls were worked out to be 19th century creations, and they worked out how those stones shifted along, and Bermuda Triangle was in there, and all that business.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who still choose to believe that these are all actually still things, and people who, flat earthers, exactly the same sort of thing. The Flat Earth Society now has offices all over the globe. I love that little meme.
Yeah, I mean, on the one way, it's quite harmless, and I think that's part of the attraction, right? Is because there's no stakes, there's no downside to believing in flat Earth. Really, it's just something you can harmlessly put your energy into.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I like. Did you see the Louis Theroux one where he went to like visit the alien or the people who believe in aliens in America?
No.
Oh, so worth it. Like just look at it. I think it's on Netflix or iPlayer. It's 45 minutes of just sheer gold of these Americans who so believe that they are killing aliens with mind bullets as the first line of defense in the earth. It's just like, and he's got a proper setup. He's got like an office, and he's got a deputy.
Yeah.
And you can see Louis Theroux talking to the deputy, and this deputy is like, no, I believe him. I 100% believe him. Yeah. And you're like, really? Yeah. And then he doesn't. And you can tell it. And there's another guy who can speak to aliens in another dimension, which is just so fun, just to see him like sitting there saying mum, and like it was definitely worth it. Louis Theroux, aliens, give it a watch.
Great.
Yeah, on our ghost themed Halloween episode. Enjoy it, guys. Who's an off topic? I was going to say an off-topic Sally. Is that what we want to call ourselves? Off-topic Sallys?
Yeah, Billy Big Balls and off-topic Sally.
Okay.
Give me a ghost game.
Ghost game. I have a ghost in a game.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my controversial one. Okay.
Right.
So, in the classic fighting game, Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
Do you remember any ghosts in it?
No, because nobody actually played Darkstalkers.
Oh, okay.
everyone just remembers them from Capcom versus games. Like, oh, where are all these cool characters?
Okay, of the Darkstalkers cast, do you know of any of them that are ghosts?
I couldn't even tell you any of the Darkstalkers cast apart from Morrigan and other colour Morrigan.
Lilith. How do you not know the Darkstalkers cast?
Because I never really played it. Is Bunny? Is there a Red
It's
Riding
not a
Hood is she in it?
bunny. You're thinking of Felicia the cat.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Red Riding
Little-
Hood, BB Hood.
BB Hood.
No, she's not a ghost. So there's a character in it called Hizenko.
Oh, does she have the little tickets?
She has the little ticket on the face, but she also has the big sleeves with the chains coming out of them.
Yeah, I do know her.
Yeah, cool. Good. So, she was marketed in the West as a ghost.
I think any marketing of Darkstalkers is a contested.
Okay,
fact,
marketing,
but-
yeah. So, in the instruction manual, she's
Okay.
a ghost.
Right.
Now, this is where it gets a little bit contentious, because I think that was mainly because somebody at Capcom said, nobody's going to understand what she actually is, just call her a ghost. And I
Yeah.
think we're actually, nowadays, we're a bit more accepting of what these things are, and, we accept Japanese culture to have these yokai and all this sort of stuff. It's still a bit of a weird one as to what she actually is. I still think of her as a ghost because she's like, there's this big backstory about her actually being two entwined souls of sisters, and the mother's also like redeemed them and she becomes evil and all this sort of stuff. But she's actually based on, get ready for this,
Yeah.
Japanese hopping vampires.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of a hopping vampire?
No.
No. Okay, so that is her actual genre. She's not a ghost. She's a hopping vampire. Now, I'm still including her on this list because in my heart of hearts, and when I was first introduced to her, I had no idea of Japanese culture particularly well, nor did I know what a hopping vampire was. So I'm happy to continue to think of her as a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I also think she's a really, really cool character because she has like these big sleeves and she just pulls out so many different weapons. She has these cool claws which she actually uses to crawl along the ground really quickly. She has like a big sort of flail spiked ball thing that she uses, and she's got like a sort of a Batman zip line that she can fire up into the ceiling, and then she spins round with all of the blades and things like that. I really like that whole bladed ghost, well, bladed hopping vampire that she sort of embodies, or yeah, she's got a body. If she does that body.
Yeah.
You seem to be very quiet there. Do you hate everything about what I'm saying about he's
No. One of the things that I've seen a lot in particularly Japanese, but I think it's kind of pan Asian, are those little tickets.
Yes.
You see them in like anime and other things.
So it's usually like a big long strip of paper that has like words, and then they put them on the forehead. Yeah.
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 I don't really know what are they supposed to do.
So I think the tickets get used as wards. So like you have them on things to like ward off evil spirits.
Yeah.
And I guess she had a ticket in her head because she used to be evil, or
Okay.
something like that. I think there is a whole story around that. I started reading about Hizenko before I did this podcast, believe it or not. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actual research. And her story got so convoluted that I was like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through the wiki page. I was like, I don't even remember how this started. Why is her mother involved?
Also, where is that story told? There's only like 3 Darkstalkers games, and not all the cast are in every game.
I think Hizenko is a staple, and yeah, they do a lot of storytelling at the starts and the ends of the games when you play as the characters.
Okay, yeah, okay. There were a lot of games we didn't get,
Yeah.
like the Vampire Hunter and the Vampire Savior games.
Well, we got. Yeah, I mean, I played Darkstalkers in the arcade and I think I had Darkstalkers 3 for the PlayStation. This is a very boring story. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, I've had Darkstalkers games and played them and enjoyed them. And of course, like, you get the emulated versions of the other versions as well. Yeah, like, I like Darkstalkers. I'd love to have a compendium of them, or some way to play them. You know,
they got a TV series, an American TV series, as well as a Japanese one.
Yes, I do remember that, and I remember, I think Dimitri comes across as a little bit a wrongin'.
1995.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like. Recently, I can't remember why I got into. I want to learn more about ghosts and myths from Japan and China, and there's still very little that's been properly kind of translated. So it's only through weird things like Yokai Watch and strange Pokemon and weird tropes that you see in video games that comes across. But there's a guy called Patrick Lafcadio. I have no idea how you say that. Hearn, who was Greek-Irish, but then he went to Japan and studied ghosts and legends. And so there's a really nice penguin book.
Oh, okay, cool.
Of some of his ghosts. So they are stories.
Yeah, you get a lot of it in like the Studio Ghibli, like apparently like that Spirited Away one. Like everything you see, like hopping umbrellas and stuff like that, are all just like yokai.
Yeah.
Things. Yeah.
So yeah, some of his writing is accessible still. That's another problem with some of the stuff that he put together, and it's interesting to kind of see all these different ghost stories. They're quite brutal as well. They will have like many of them have very kind of truncated endings. and then on 50 nights he had to surround himself by salt and do some prayers, and then after 50 nights he forgot, and then his head got cut off. The end.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's Hizenko. Very, very cool Darkstalkers character. She made it to quite a few of the crossovers as well. She's in Project Cross Zone.
That gotcha.
Yeah. She's also in what's it called? Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's not a good game, but for some reason she was selected by the Capcom committee to be in there as well. Good fun. So who is next on your list? What ghost in game?
So I think I may have mentioned this when I was playing it on the 3DS, but the next ghost I'm going to mention is from Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, which I vicariously enjoyed when it first came out. I watched my brother play most of it, and then got it on the 3DS, and it's one of those games that really shouldn't work on a 3DS. It's a big, complicated game that used all the buttons on the PlayStation, but it really worked. Just about worked on the 3DS. And one of the boss fights in that, so the Metal Gear Solid games are famous for putting you through a gauntlet of different bosses on a theme, be it emotions or sins or blah blah blah. And one of the bosses there was called the Sorrow, and he was actually dead. He died. He was killed by, spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 3, by the boss in part of one of the ridiculously convoluted plots that tends to put me off the Metal Gear Solid games. But the cool thing about his boss fight was you would go down this river of sorrow, and you'd have to kind of fight off or wade through all the ghosts of people that you'd killed until you'd got to that point in the game. So you can do it without killing anyone. I think there are 4 people you have to kill. And there's only 4 ghosts which you have to encounter. And if you kill absolutely everybody, then that bit of the level is really, really hard. But if you kind of indirectly killed them, they wouldn't appear. So if you like threw them into some quicksand or something and they sunk, that wouldn't count. But if you kind of shot them, they would be there, which is really cool. And you're kind of there's not much you can do. It's kind of like a dodging mini game, and there's all kinds of fun stuff you can do in that game. And then later on, if you're you can get a special little bit where you can see the Sorrow's real dead body, and he pops up in some of the later games as well. And in one of the games, I forget which one it is.
I have no idea. I've not played any of them at all.
Okay, well, you're attacked by, or a ghost of one of the previous bosses turns up, and then the ghost of the Sorrow turns up and gets rid of him. Ghosts are all over that game as well, so there's lots that you have a camera, and there's various achievements or bits you unlock by photographing various ghosts. You just have to keep photographing everywhere until you find all these ghosts around the game to unlock some stuff. But yeah, I really like that mechanic, because I've always thought about much like that scene from Austin Powers where every guard he kills, you kind of see a little scene about their family.
Yeah.
If somehow that could be incorporated into games, these games where you're just mowing down guards, and he kind of tells you the story of their life and the kids that they left behind. And this was a cool way of doing it. The first time you're playing it, you don't really realise, I think. And then there are a few kind of recognisable ghosts. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the guy I killed doing this or doing that. So yeah, I really like Kojima at his best, I think. Really having fun with how a game works, and forcing you to confront all the soldiers that you lethally killed, because you can knock them out or avoid them.
Yeah.
In this river of sorrow. That's my second ghost. Is the Sorrow from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay. Good choice.
Yeah,
I like it.
huge fan. And I like the ghost mechanic. They're kind of doing something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a gameplay thing.
Yeah, and definitely fits in with the definition of a ghost.
Yeah, I mean they're solidly ghosts, proper ghosts.
Solidly ghosts.
Yeah.
There's a nice oxymoron.
What's your next ghost?
Okay. Short and sweet one. You know how Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, unless you put the cheat code in.
Yeah, unless you do that. But you also get to see your ghost. Do you know that?
Well, you see it lots of times, depending on what.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about like back flashbacks or anything like that.
But you see her in Advent Children at the end. You see her
In the game Final Fantasy VII.
a lot in Advent Children.
Just Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Okay. God, going off piece with extra canon, But no, actually in the game. So, after spoiler, Aerith dies.
Spoilers.
If you return to the church in Midgar,
Yeah.
like where you first met her, or first kind of meet her.
Oh yeah, you meet her before.
Yeah, but you know that she lived there, or she hung about there. She took you to that church, tending the flowers. So you just see a little flash of her, a little glimpse, a little ghost of her once being there. That's it, and she's gone. Just a little memory of Eris, a nice creepy little nod that she's still around. And of course they've got this whole spiel of the planet, life blood of the planet and all that sort of stuff going on at the same time.
Life is Streamer.
Life is Streamer. Yeah. So I guess that's what it sort of ties into, and that's what was making these flowers grow. So maybe there's just a little bit of Aerith there. But it was fun to include that. I know that you genuinely do fight ghosts in the disused scrapyard for the trains.
Yeah.
And steal ghost hands and stuff like that.
Shout out to... What's the name of that house?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Okay, Vamp, whilst I check.
Yeah. So ghosts in Final Fantasy VII. And, of course, you've got all of the weird, creepy, yokai-esque ones in Nibelheim?
Hell House.
Hell House, yes. Yeah, but yeah, you know where Vincent is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, there's quite a few ghosty bits in Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. Just as a standard staple boss type.
The ghosts that you fight in the blooming scrapyard are they're literally floating sheets with two, holes cut out like eyes. Yeah, so it's a little basic, but yeah, I like the nod to Aerith being dead and then a little glimpse of her ghost suddenly appearing as well.
Which boss can you one-hit kill with a Phoenix down? Because it's a ghost.
Yes, and any healing stuff that you do on it actually does damage to it.
Yeah. But but if you use a Phoenix down.
Is it in Nibelheim? Is it it's one of the bosses before you get to Vincent, isn't it?
I thought it was before that. Oh well.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm so glad you posed that riddle for us and gave us no closure.
Gnatak? I don't know. Who's Gnatak? Gnatak.
How do you spell that? G-E...
G-I...
G-I...
N-A-T-T-A-K.
Oh, Gnatak. Oh, yeah. That's the one in... That's the weird face thing that has, a sun and a moon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally in... No, that's in the cavern. That's a different thing. That's not the thing I'm thinking of.
Yes, since it's undead, a simple strategy is to use an X potion, elixir, or mega elixir to kill it instantly. Phoenix down, spell life will work as well, though it might miss because it's 25% chance of working.
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, there you go. Final Fantasy VII ghosty bits.
Nice.
Over to you. Who's next on your list?
The next one on my list is Cynthia Velasquez from Silent Hill or The Room.
That is mine. That's mine. That is my last one.
Well, you should have said it first.
Oh, god damn it.
So she's one of the... oh god, how many sacraments are there? 17? 20? 21? 21.
21 sacraments. She's one of the 6 ghosts in Silent Hill, The Room.
Yes.
So halfway through the game, things go a little bit weird. So the first half of the game, you are travelling through different orifices in your house. I see. I'm just totally railroading and sandbagging you now. But yeah, so you travel through these little holes and you end up in other people's dreams, and each one of those people eventually die. Spoilers. And you have to pretty much kill their ghosts. It's a great game.
Yeah, or at least get away with it, because it's something you can't kill, right?
Well, you only get a certain number of... Is it Swords of Damascus?
Swords of Obedience?
Yeah. Basically, you jam a sword into that ghost, and it can no longer move around. And I think you only get 5 of them. So you always have to leave one around. But you can also, at any time, go back and take that sword out of that, essentially, boss character, and then run away. But then it means that something freaky will happen in your apartment or something like that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you see Cynthia alive, and then there's a horrible level in the subway. I think it's probably one of the creepiest sets. I mean, Silent Hill takes you to schools and hospitals, but there's something really creepy about that subway in particular.
Especially an empty subway. I think that's what.
Yeah, an empty subway, and you're reading, or you're reading files about somebody who killed themselves, and you get these ghosts which are really creepy because they're kind of swimming along the floor, like almost like a fish. And you see a couple of those on your way down there, and then Cynthia dies kind of in your arms, and then you have to come back later, and then she is one of those ghosts kind of swimming around on the floor like a fish, and then floating like a puppet. Other bits and pieces.
Yeah, but I think the floating like a puppet thing, that's the thing that I chose her over all of the other ghosts. I chose her over the other ghosts.
Wow.
Yeah. Should have said it first.
The podcast says otherwise.
Yeah. Is because she has this sort of like drowned tentacle like hair that seems to be sort of not the strings for her, but it's almost like it is pushing her around as a puppet as well, and it snaps out and it grabs you, and you have to like fight off the hair. But of course you can't actually kill the ghost, you just have to shove a sword in it. But yeah, I mean that's what I really, really love about The Room, is like that narrative of the 6 people that you go and visit in their dreams. They die, and then you have to somehow deal with them as malevolent spirits.
Yeah.
And like there's a guy who's on fire. And
oh yeah, he's also quite memorable. But it's just genuinely very scary, and so there are very few ghosts on this list which are, woo scary.
Yeah, exactly. Boom from Mario.
Yeah, Sableye a little bit scary, but not quite in the same way. But The Room in general, we've talked about it before. Just one of those games that plays little tricks on you all the time, and because you're stuck in this room, and there's various items that you can find or accept, which makes creepy things happen. So you're on edge the whole time. Every time you start,
there's always consequences to your actions.
Yeah. So initially the room is like your sanctuary, and then as you go through, you start dread going back, and then there's all kinds of nice little tricks. Like one time, there'll be somebody looking at you from across the street in the window. I remember another time, just as you kind of do a circuit of the apartment every time you come back, and like a head would fall past the window, or a little doll would get up and walk towards you.
There's a billboard with a phone number, and you can actually use the phone in your room to, phone that one, and of course you listen to it and you just get
yeah. There's a pair of slippers that kind of walks around and leaves bloody footprints.
Yeah. That halfway point in the game that I sort of mentioned before, after all 6 of the spirits, or 6 of the guys have died, that's when you start getting... Your apartment gets very haunted, the chains appearing and all that sort of stuff. It's not nice, and you have to...
Faces out the wall.
Yeah, and you have to burn candles to get rid of these... what's it called? Almost possessions that are happening to like a little kitchenette area and things like that. Yeah.
And the way she moves, it's very much like The Ring and The Grudge, which were popular at the time, with the hair as well, the long black hair.
Yeah.
And of course, it being a Konami game, if you do particularly well, which I never did because it was quite a hard game and I didn't want to play it very much because it's too scary.
Yeah, it's very scary.
You can unlock sexy outfits for her. I don't know if she has the sexy outfit when she's a ghost as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could get outfits for those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite cool.
A horribly revealing outfit that you're now looking at.
Oh dear, okay.
Yeah.
Googling it right now.
Yeah. And she's also... I think she's in a Dance Dance Revolution game as well in the background.
Are you kidding me? That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Not as a ghost, just as her pre-ghostly self.
Ah, that'd be so cool if she's sort of like dancing about with the weird evil hair that's actually making her move around.
drowned fish ghost puppet lady.
Oh god. Yeah, just looking at it, it's just basically skimpy lingerie she's wearing.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how you unlock that, but I don't think I played the room more than once because it was so horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I played through it once. I don't think it was hard. It was just more
distressing.
Yes, that's the thing. It's just like, right, okay, I want to play this game, and then you're thinking, I don't want to play this game. It's just so scary. Yeah, I get the same way about horror movies, and I think we can bring this to a close because I no longer have any more people to talk about. Thanks very much. But yeah, I get the same way about horror movies as well. Like, I've been watching In Search of Darkness, the great big long documentaries about all of the 80s horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to think that I like horror movies.
Yeah.
But I can't decide if I do or not. Because one, I don't like slashers. Like, I don't like films where they try to make lots of blood, or slashing people and arms fall off, and try to make it look as realistic as possible. Nowadays, obviously, there's no point in doing that because CG's gone well beyond that. But like the old 70s and 80s ones, when they were using prosthetics and models and stuff like that, they still put you on edge because they're minging. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not so much the slashers. I mind too much. I think maybe desensitized to it. You can watch people people having their heads pulled off in Dawn of the Dead or other horrible kinds of things. It's more the suburban horror which the room kind of taps into. I think I sent you that short film.
Yeah. That's
just about a light switch going on and off in a hallway. That freaks me out way more than seeing someone get their eyes pushed in or something. Which Silent Hill is all is all about.
It's the psychological horror side of things.
Yes. Yeah. Did I see it? Didn't I see it? And familiar settings as well.
Things like Midsummer can almost fall into that psychological horror thing as well, and it's quite disturbing. Have you seen Get Out?
Yeah.
Oh. See, that's proper claustrophobic horror stuff. And I can't decide. Like, that film will stay with me for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. Did I like it? See, this is what I can't decide, It's quite scary, like, when it's just murderers and stuff like that. Whereas, I fucking love Hellraiser.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's basically a fantasy film that, and it's a weird demons and sci-fi almost. And yeah, they take it to sci-fi in Hellraiser 4. But yeah, like, that's fine, and I dig that kind of. I guess it sort of because it's so unrealistic and because it's a bit more of a mythos, it's more palatable. But like, I was disturbed by. Do you remember Peter Jackson's Brain Dead? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
With the zombies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh god, that is something I watched when I was too young to watch horror films. And there's just like one scene where these people are like dying. He's got his mum out there, and her ear falls off into a bowl of custard, and then you just watch her eat her own ear with this yellow gloopy mess and like this bloodied red pussy ear, and it's just like, oh, and that's 10 times worse than pretty much like the rest of the film. And that film gets pretty icky. It does. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
See, but I'd I don't mind those too much, but things like films like In the Mouth of Madness, Through the Mouth of Madness.
and Through the Mouth of Madness. Yeah.
Yeah, which had just little bits like there's a painting, and it's a very good film. You should watch it if you haven't. There's a painting in the lobby, and the painting changes every time you look at it. Right, there's differences in this painting. It's not really drawn attention to it, or he's driving down the highway and keeps passing this paper boy who gets older and older and older until it's like a partially putrefied old man who's cycling his bike up the road and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
I think the scariest game I've ever played, I didn't get very far, was Forbidden Siren.
Oh, yeah.
And because the mechanic in that was genius. It was solid.
Is Forbidden Siren Fatal Frame, or?
No, it's similar. It looks, it has that same aesthetic with the kind of film grain on it. But the mechanic in that was you could attune yourself to these other kind of zombies, and you could see through their eyes.
Okay.
Sort of like tuning in a radio. And they were solid, so you couldn't, you couldn't really, in the way you can in Silent Hill, you couldn't run up to them and do them with a pipe, right? It was like 50-50 chance you could, and there were too many of them in some levels. So you'd kind of be creeping around as they were patrolling about, very, creepy kind of Asian zombie type things. But then you'd kind of check through their eyes, but then when you saw like the back of your head in one of their eyes, it's like, shit, that means it's behind me. Fuck me up. Couldn't play that game.
Yeah, I played Fatal Frame. I know it's a different game.
Yeah.
And the whole concept behind that one is there are ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
You want to kill them by taking pictures of them.
Yeah.
The more pictures you take of them, the angrier they get. So you can walk around this mansion, creepy sounds will happen, things will happen, and you're okay. But the moment you bring that camera up to your face, the choice you have to make to bring this camera up to your face, that's when, the ghosts don't like being seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
but you do more damage to them the better the photo you take.
Yes. So you have to try and get them in the center.
Yeah.
Snap. But of course it's not nice and it's a little creepy and I think it's a great concept for a game. I find again it very hard to play because
So I think I downloaded I remember we got a Fatal Frame on the Switch, on the Wii or the Wii U 7 maybe. But I don't know, there's something about it being download only or something. It was just so huge.
I don't think it was Wii U. I think it was just Wii.
It's just weird. It's just such a huge game. So I think I played the demo and it took ages to download. And you do one level of it, but they're horrible. Generally, Fatal Frame, and Forbidden Siren are probably the two proper scary, ghosty type games, ghosty zombie type games. Both very Japanese as well.
Yeah. But I just wanted to get my thoughts on Halloween films as well. Like I have a tradition of always trying to watch Halloween films over the October period. And I just found myself like trying to choose these films, and I was like, no, that film's minging, or no, I don't want one that's gonna psychologically disturb me for the rest of the night. It's just like I just end up just watching comedy ones, I ended up watching What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Technically, it's a horror, but only because it's got like vampires in it. But it's like it pales next to like actual horrors, but it counts. It's got vampires in it,
Yeah. Try In the Mouth of Madness.
I don't think I will actually. Yeah. Nah. Sorry, did I offend you?
No. I'd like to watch it for the first time again, but also I'd never want to watch it again in my life.
Yeah. There's plenty of films like that you just wish, oh, they're so creepy and odd, and they stick with you. That's the thing. They get something in your brain, and I know part of watching horror is the desensitization, and then it moves into entertainment. But getting past that desensitizing is often not worth it when you can just, I don't know, watch something else, something nice. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah, but there's also, there's many film studies, theses about how that's the importance of horror films, right? Is to go somewhere and be scared and excited, and for it to to be a channel for anxieties and fears, and for that reason, a lot of horror movies are tapping into various negative aspects of modern life, be it zombie horror set in a mall or at a holiday camp.
Or there was the one there, was it called Land of the Dead, which is just basically about the Bush administration.
Yeah. So it being a way to expose yourself and process things in a safe, contained way, because you know that at the end of that you walk out of the cinema and you leave. I think there's been lots of writing on that.
It's one of the things. Is like people talk about the best kills in the film. Oh, how great was it when those two were having sex and then Jason just stabs both of them through the chest. And you're like, that's not very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But it's weird that there is a flippancy to the ability to sort of just say that, that's the best kill.
Yeah. Or that, it's fine to show that kind of thing on the screen, but God forbid we ever see a wrecked penis.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
We can see people getting disemboweled and heads cut off and God knows what, but
no.
The real taboo, is that kind of thing. I think I've got one more ghost.
Do you?
Yeah, I've only done 3.
You've only done 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Right, okay. We'll just edit out all of that Halloween chat, shall we?
Well, my last ghost, very quickly, is the ghost D from Another Code, 2 Memories. So Another Code had 2 games, and it was part of this magical time in the same universe, I think. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but all made by Sing, as Hotel Dusk, Last Window, and there were 2 Another Code games. And in Another Code, you play as Ashley Mizuki Robbins. Very strange name, Mizuki Robbins. And in the first game, Another Code 2 Memories on the DS, that's when everything had to be some DS pun.
Yeah.
So she had a DAS system, which looked just like a DS. 2 memories, because there's 2 screens or some shit. But she meets a ghost boy when she lands on this little island. And the whole game is about trying, I think you can fail as well, trying to get his memories back. And she's, she doesn't seem to be too bothered by this ghost boy who she meets in a cemetery. And the gameplay is all about puzzles, quite hard puzzles, if I remember rightly. But it has this really dark story at the heart of it, and she's like a spunky teen, and this kid's kind of like a losery kid, and he has this symbol in his chest, which, spoilers for Another Code, turns out to be the last thing he saw before he died, which was his uncle's hand trying to save him from this cliff. Spoilers. Oh, I said spoilers. And you can fail it, so you can not reveal his memories, and then he's just stuck on the island for the rest of the time. You get an ending, but if you do get enough of his memories back, you see the circumstances of his death. He falls off this cliff.
Did you give it a little boons when you found it out?
No, I didn't. It was quite moving. It kind of catches you out because it's this lovely little game with a nice soundtrack. You're doing puzzles and running about. You've got a little DS system. Yeah, and it's fun to play, and the music's gorgeous, and it's nice to play. But it's this really sad story at its heart, which you're trying to unveil, and then you fuck off and do something completely different in another code R. Yeah. So shout outs to D, the ghost in another code.
Okay.
2 memories.
Nice.
And the story focuses on a ghost as well, which is nice.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
that's actually quite a good one to end on then. I see another code, like always on these deals and things like that. I've just never picked it up. Just one of these ones. It's just like, I don't have enough time to even research what this one is. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah. I don't know if you touched Hotel Dusk or Last Window.
No.
Very old school puzzle games, in that you would, you'd be like, I have this item and this item, and I know they go somewhere in this thing, but I can't quite work out how they go in.
Oh, okay,
yeah. And so if you enjoy that and the overcoming that challenge, and when it finally clicks and you get it and you're really happy, or if you're just be someone who gets really frustrated and just looks up a walkthrough, they're not for you if you're that latter kind of person. But yeah, there was a little heyday with these 4 games that came out almost back to back, and then we didn't really have anything quite like it at the moment. Very old school kind of puzzle game.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
This podcast has turned me around on Halloween and spooky things. Yeah.
Hey, you gonna get your Halloween on?
No, absolutely not. But
No, okay. Are you gonna dress up as a sexy nurse for Halloween?
no.
Okay.
We're not going to hang pumpkins up. We're not going to do trick or treat.
Okay.
We're not going to make pumpkin products.
Gonna watch a horror movie?
Nah.
Okay.
There we go. But
Cool.
everyone should watch In the Mouth of Madness this
In
Halloween.
the mouth of madness. Okay. Ugh. Right. Okay. I heard that guy was a maniac.
Spooky. Why do you spookily bite me?
Spooky.